Welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast and building winners week 7. It's time to update how things are going. Didn't update yesterday. Apologies, just there wasn't a lot going on. I will say this week is a little bit easier compared to others. I'm playing two teams that are kind of inactive or just really don't have much of a chance. But that does give us a lot of opportunity to talk about how do you use weeks like this to prep, and should you or should you not go after the sweep, that sort of things. And if you are going to go after the sweep, how do you do it in an efficient way that also sets you up well for the week following, right? So that's what we're going to look at today. Let's take a look at how we can prep. And also, I picked up Martin Jones. What was I thinking there? Let's talk about it. So let's start off first by going to our good old friends here, the Hockrus League, the Cats League. So I'm up 10-0 in that one. If you'll notice above, I don't know where to point here, but in the above, up there, now I added this week's score and opponent record and switched it up. Just editorially makes a lot more sense. Thank you to the people who in the comments give me suggestions all the time and help me fix things like that. So anyways, up 10-0. It's not necessarily super commanding. I've had 13 starts to their 6. They've finally done things. Okay, so IR plus Hockrus and Marner, they probably have claims out for people tomorrow. So they may be adding people, but again, Klingberg is still out too. So they have Hockrus and Marner out, which ultimately for me just means a lot of starts. So we'll see exactly what happens there. Now it says I have 40 starts, but I need to set lines because, like I said, I picked up Martin Jones. So we'll talk about that in a second. Let's see where my starts go to. Well, now I have 47 starts. Awesome. That's still a lot. It's going to be hard for them to make that up, at least from the same quality that Marner, Hockrus, and Klingberg will get you, even though Klingberg hasn't done much. Anybody that they're going to pick up is not going to be as good as those three guys. So I'm not too worried there. Blocks, crushing it. Hits, block, crushing it. Shots on goal are the one that is a little bit closer than I'd like, honestly. That's the only one. Everything else feels good. I wish I had more power play points with 13 skaters having gone, but it's not anything to be too concerned about, to be honest. I feel good about it. Now, the thing to talk about now is Martin Jones. So I picked up Martin Jones, dropped Thatcher Demko. Why did I do that? Now, Thatcher Demko, to me, on one hand, isn't going to get me many starts, but right now, Martin Jones is sitting on a 4-game win streak. If you'll remember from last year, Martin Jones was good for one thing and one thing only, and that was wins. And that's what my team needs. I have a guy in Jacob Markstrom who can get me really good save percentages for the most part, and Philip Grubauer as well has been really good. He's a 9.15 on the season. He wasn't doing so well at the end, but he did clearly have some sort of injury there, right? He was so hit or miss, so I'm hoping once he comes back from injury, he's solid. But if I have Philip Grubauer, Martin Jones, and Jacob Markstrom, I'll feel really good. I'll have the wins for Martin Jones and then probably be able to get up to an average save percentage most weeks with Markstrom and Grubauer as well. So that's kind of the hope there, is I'm really just banking on wins here. That's all I'm caring about. Because if we take a look at team stats, I'm towards the bottom from a goaltender's perspective in wins. Yeah, I'm very, very down there. I mean, F for Respect doesn't own goaltenders. They don't pick up goaltenders. So I am technically second to last, and Mac Attack has played like 2 or 3 weeks with no goaltenders. So really, I am hands down the worst at wins from a goaltender's perspective. So at minimum, I'll take wins because I'm so good from a skater perspective. Like from a skater perspective, I am the top in blocks, towards the top in shots, towards the top in power play points, towards the top in goals and assists. And so if I'm at the top of all of that, I really just need one goaltender cat to dominate. And Martin Jones is a guy who can, if the Sharks figure it out, and they seem to be on an absolute roll. And granted, it's been Chicago, Minnesota, and Edmonton, but Nashville was a really impressive win and a very impressive performance of Martin Jones. I think that there is something here. I think they could be turning a corner. And so I'm going to take the gamble here that Martin Jones might get me some wins. We'll see how it works out. And again, it's one of those things where I actually kind of have the luxury with my team where if I lose goaltending cats, I've already been doing that. I've already been losing goalie categories almost every week, right? But I'd like to take at least one of the 3. If I could take one of the 3 but dominate skater categories, then I'm happy. The problem is right now I'm losing every goaltending category, and I don't have a guy that's really a win upside aside from Grubauer. Now I have Grubauer and Martin Jones for a win upside, which is what I'm going to bank on. So we'll see if that works out for me. It may not. The other thing I did is I had Jake DeBrusk on my IR plus, but one of the nice things about Yahoo, if you don't know this already, remember this, you can add people who are injured to IR plus for other injured players or to IR, whatever, however you use it, right? IR plus or IR, you get it. Same idea for the most part. You can add injured players for other injured players and it won't affect your roster. It's just going to be a IR thing. So for here, I dropped Jake DeBrusque and picked up Hintz. Hintz is a good guy who I can have and has upside in this league. Shoots a lot, probably could get top 6 minutes when he comes back. And it's just a guy also that I can store on IR plus for a while until he's healthy, of course. So the moves that I need to make here, for one, I'm thinking of dropping Nico Hischier. I don't necessarily need him this week. I also am going to bench him on Saturday. And so we can take a look at who's kind of playing well. Barclay Goodrow is the #1 ranked in our league, but a large part of that is PIMS. If you're in a PIMS league, Yahoo overrates PIMS like crazy. They really, really do. And that's something to pay attention to if you're in a PIMS league, is a lot of times they will over-index PIMS from a ranking perspective, and it'll bring someone up in ranking a ton. That's why you'll see like a Tom Wilson be super, super high, when really like from a contribution perspective, it's not as much. Or you'll see like a maybe a Lucic, for example, will be really up there, and they haven't even gotten PIMS recently, but they have a total of like 30 PIMS on the season. They'll be over-indexed from a ranking perspective. Eric Stahl is a guy I actually like quite a bit. Shooting a lot. His minutes are just kind of all over the place. So looking at the off nights tool, I want to prep for next week while also prepping for this week. Right now, I don't have to bench Thursday, Friday, or Sunday. So I filtered this to only show me the best schedules Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and that would be the Buffalo Sabres, the Boston Bruins, the Calgary Flames, and Chicago from a schedule score perspective. But I think here what I'm going to do. So Buffalo has a pretty good schedule here. And they get Ottawa on Saturday, and they have Chicago on Sunday. And then next week, they have actually one of the best schedules in the league next week. Let's remove this actually here. Let's show all things again. Buffalo is one of the best ones. They only have the Sunday off night and have Tuesday, Thursday. But there is one thing that I like a lot and Arizona actually has a good schedule next week too. So let's take a look at Buffalo and Arizona here and who's available. I already think I know who I'm going to target to pick up tomorrow. He is available. I'm going to go after Victor Olofsson for Nico Hischier. I think he has a much higher upside than Nico Hischier. And Nico Hischier has been really cold. And if Olofsson can continue to get these 20-something minutes, and again, it's one of those things where this week, if somebody were playing a difficult opponent, they wouldn't be able to pick up Victor Olofsson because I'm not going to put in the bid because I don't want anyone to see it, so I'll do that off screen. But I'm going to go for Victor Olofsson here. And one of the things is that, for example, if you're playing a difficult opponent, you don't have the luxury of being able to pick up Victor Olofsson because he doesn't actually do much for you this week. His schedule isn't that great. But because I'm playing an easy opponent and currently up 10-0, and Nico Hischier hasn't even been doing much anyways, I can actually go for Victor Olofsson, who doesn't do much for me this week, but could have long-term potential. And that's really the benefit of picking up a guy or having a easy week. In an easy week, you should not be taking it easy. You should not be just forgetting everything. Instead, you should be taking a look at how do I maximize my roster right now for the long term, and especially for the week that's coming up, right? And also what you can do is you can block other player moves. So sometimes you can say, for example, Victor Olofsson is someone who I know that next week someone would want to pick up, right? That's somebody would want, especially when my opponents, such as Brandon. And so what you can do is you can grab guys with one of your starts or your ads that would block opponents from picking people up. And that's one of the things with Martin Jones that I wanted to do too, is people like Martin Jones in this league. I know some people have already floated that they like Martin Jones because of his wins if he figures it out. And so for me, it's just kind of a cool, I'll steal wins from someone else essentially. But other than that, honestly, feeling good about this league. I'm going to go for the 10-0. I think I can do it. I'm feeling really good about where my team is at. The four goals, 6 assists. That looks fantastic. Okay, now return to the backups. I am killing it this week. 42.05 to 8.9. Now, they already had a low projection. I'm just crushing my projection. Why couldn't they do this other weeks? Why can't my team do this other weeks? Come on. Ah, man, but it's okay. We're feeling good over our projection by quite a bit. Made the right decision yesterday to bench Bob. Bob ended up getting negative 3.25 points. So I'm glad I benched Bob versus Boston, or at Boston rather. That was a great decision, even though Yahoo gave him a 5-star. absolutely insane. Stupid Yahoo. And then today, not really doing any benching. Obviously, I have that waiver claim in for John Klingberg that I'm hoping I get. And then I think the move that I need to make is what I'm going to do with Justin Schultz. He only got 19 minutes last night. Sure, got a goal, but honestly, I'm not huge on Justin Schultz. So let's take a look at what's out there for me. Tyler Bertuzzi is at the top of the list. He's ranked 57th in this league. He's been crushing it this season, but a lot of it is he's not super consistent, and so part of me is thinking about it. Part of me is thinking about potentially going Detroit, but next week we see that they just have no good schedule next week. And if we look at this week, filter out the days that I need to bench here for left wing, right wing, Detroit doesn't have that great of a schedule. They are way down here with only a Saturday game, so I wouldn't be able to play him. I think what I'm going to do here is the other guy that's still available in this league is Victor Olofsson. And I think I just want to take a look at goaltenders really quick. So the Demko is still out there. Smith got shelled. Oh, wow. Look at that. Negative 7.25 points. Nice. So let's go Victor Olofsson again. I dropped him in this league, but now we're going to pick him back up. So you can watch me actually make the pickup here, because this one is just put in the ad sort of thing, and it comes up for next week. So tomorrow I do have room. I do. So let's drop Justin Schultz here and picked up Victor Olofsson and hope that he continues to get the deployment that he's getting. Cool. So let's start the active players and see what it looks like from a projection standpoint. Nice. My projection goes up. Good move, folks. Good move. So we up this week and hopefully up next week's as well. So now we have Victor Olofsson as a left wing, right wing, which is awesome. So I'll take that all day. And then tomorrow we're going to need to do some sort of benching. No benching. Tomorrow we're okay. The only day I believe we're benching is going to be Saturday, and only Victor Olofsson. And maybe we could think about potentially probably Victor Olofsson for Kyle Connor. We'll revisit this, but that I think makes more sense. And then of course Sergei, but bro, this is a tough one. We're gonna have to talk about this. Probably this, but we'll see. Not sure. The Rangers kind of shell the Panthers all the time. So ECFHL is crazy tight. I mean, it is super, super close right now. I've had 13 starts, so they're 9. I outstart them a little bit, so that matters. But what's really crazy is the save percentage shots against, or the save percentage wins and save percentage were exactly equal. It's as though we didn't have a goalie start, which is pretty insane. The odds of that happening, I feel like, are very, very low. Yesterday, Hellebuck had 21 saves, got an 8.40, and Pecorine got 21 saves and 8.40 and lost. So I got really lucky there, and we both ended up tying in that, so that's pretty fantastic. We started at 0 again. It's as though, like I said, no goalie has started, which is great. And then we're pretty even in goals and assists. Neither of us have power play points yet. The shots on goal I'm up in, hits are really close, and blocks are really close as well. So I'm pretty excited to see where this matchup goes. It's 3rd versus 8th, but you know the actual point difference isn't too big. And if we take a look at my team right now, this trade, I made it to an inactive team. I'll show you what it is. I'm just going to cancel it. They're not going to accept it. But I sent Pietrangelo and Dubois for Larkin and Makar. If you look at Pietrangelo, he's ranked 29th. Makar is 45th. Larkin is 83rd. Dubois is 97. I was like, maybe they're high on Pietrangelo. Maybe they're frustrated with Dylan Larkin. And this was more than anything. I was like, okay, this is a pretty fair trade in some regards, depending on how they value Dylan Larkin. So it was more a conversation starter. I knew it would be declined if the person was active. I knew it would be declined, and I was just hoping it would spark conversation. If they were interested, for example, in Pietrangelo, then it's like, okay, well, let's work around Makar. How about I do this instead of this? So this is kind of one of my ways of doing trades a lot of times, is I'll send one that's just a little bit unfair, but has a chance potentially of getting accepted. But more than anything, what it does is it just kind of starts conversation and says, okay, well, I'm not down to move Larkin, but I'm interested in Dubois and Pietrangelo. How about we do this instead? Something like that, right? Something that just gets a conversation going. That's what I like to send out if I'm just sending out a cold call trade out there. So today I have some good guys going. Wayne Simmons against Ottawa. Very excited about getting those games in there. And then what I'm going to have to do here is think about dropping Nico Hischier, of course. Tomorrow I have room. I don't have room for a left wing. Well, I do have a util, so I'd be okay. The only real day I need to bench is Saturday. So let's take a look again here at who's out there. This league is a lot different. I really would like Jaden Schwartz because he was dropped. Tomorrow he's off waivers, so I think Jaden Schwartz is going to be my favorite option, even though he doesn't have a great schedule. Let's take a look at St. Louis's schedule rest of week. So St. Louis plays Friday, so I'd at least get him Friday. What about next week? What's St. Louis's schedule for next week? Let's see. I think next week is a pretty bad schedule. Man, St. Louis plays on all the heavy days. And next week's heavy days are very heavy. Huh. Oh, man, this is tough. But honestly, he should be owned. He shouldn't be available. I'm very high on Jaden Schwartz. And again, I'll do the bid offline. But yeah, okay, so let's put in a claim for Jaden Schwartz first and foremost, just because I don't think he should be available. I'm actually liking what Vetrano's doing recently, especially if he continues these minutes. But it's just so all over the place there. I don't want to touch it. The thing with Jaden Schwartz is he doesn't get me hits, and hits are what I'm kind of struggling in this week. Who has the best schedule next week? It's Arizona, so I'm obviously keeping Chikrin. Ottawa actually has a pretty good schedule here too, just because they have 2 off nights. Only 3 games, but they have 2 off nights. And then they get the Rangers, which is a nice one. What to do? Is there any... Honestly, Zaitsev is a pretty decent option, but I don't really need blocks right now. What I need is hits. Ryan Reeves is out there, but Ryan Reeves doesn't do much for me. Yeah, he's on all the heavy days next week and this week. Vegas. I mean, Vegas has a Sunday game, I suppose, but I could pick him up later for that Sunday game. Well, let's do this. If there's also let's do this. If Jaden Schwartz falls through, yeah, he's the most droppable for sure. If Jaden Schwartz falls through, we'll just take Ryan Reeves and go for hits on the final day. Although really what I should do is I should add for Friday and then add for Sunday. So like if right now I should be targeting for this week a player that plays on Friday and then drop that player and pick up for Sunday is what I should do here. So let's actually go back. Let's leave Ryan Reeves there. Who plays Sunday here? Or Friday, sorry. Let's look at Columbus tends to hit quite a bit. Let's see if there's any Columbus hitters. You know who might actually be interesting? Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Ottawa first. Because I want to see who's on Ottawa, who hits the most. So Boryatsky is owned. DeMello. Nick Paul is interesting, actually. Lots of shots. I like Nick Paul quite a bit. Okay, so Nick Paul, let's just add him here. I'll adjust. Let's just add people that we like. And then we'll adjust the waiver order after. Okay, looking at Ottawa again here. Nick Paul is my favorite. Just from a hits perspective. Then you have Bobby Ryan. Nah, not interested. Let's take a look at Columbus. Columbus hits quite a bit. Let's see who's available there. So Nick Foligno is obviously one of the biggest hitters. There's David Savard. Josh Anderson's out. Josh Anderson actually. Ooh. No points, but shots and hits. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Let's drop Heishier. So here's my dilemma. Jaden Schwartz sets me up the best for the future. And I think he's someone who should be owned in general, regardless. Nick Paul is a great streamer for Friday. If you take a look at this, good shots, good hits. And then Josh Anderson is also a great streamer for Friday, given that he gets shots and hits as well. So Josh Anderson plays St. Louis. Has he played St. Louis yet? He did. He only got 3 shots and no hits. I like to go back and see how their matchups went against. When I'm making an ad, I like to go back and see how they did against the team that they're going to play, if they have played them, and it gives you somewhat of a good idea, especially from a peripherals perspective. It gives you an idea of how the other team plays without really needing to look it up too much. If we look at Nick Paul, who's Nick Paul play? Nick Paul plays Jersey, or he plays Philadelphia. Sorry. Philadelphia is not in this view. The other... The Rangers don't play Friday. The other person I actually wanted to look at for Friday... The other person I wanted to look at for Friday was Blake Coleman. Let's see what he's doing. He's not actually as exciting. I'd rather have Josh Anderson. Okay, so this is the order I'm going to put the waivers in. I may swap. I'm going to think about it a little bit, do a little bit of research off camera, and think about Josh Anderson versus Nick Paul, and adjust this order. And I'll do the bids off camera as well, just to not give them away. But these are the 3 players I'm going to go for. Jaden Schwartz is for the future. Nick Paul and Josh Anderson are for Friday, and then I'll drop someone, and then I could drop them for Ryan Reeves for Sunday. So this is kind of what we are eyeing. Okay, so there you go. So that is this league. Looks good. I feel good. But it'll be tight. It's going to be a really close matchup. This one's going to come down to the wire, so we'll probably start featuring this matchup more as the week goes on. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Hopefully Martin Jones turns it around for me, and I will catch you next time. Also, be sure to pay attention for Sit Start Saturdays, which is a new live stream we're doing to help you make decisions. Every team but one is playing on Saturday, so Sit Start Saturdays is going to be extremely useful this weekend. So hopefully I see you there, and I'll catch you next time.